Good morning, YouTube. It's Sunday morning. Oh, and I just put the sun directly into my damn eyes. October 2nd, 2022. It's finally getting late enough into the year that it's not brutally hot out here when I come out in the morning. So it's 7:34 a.m. Driving down the street to see if my neighbor has decided to have a yard sale again, and if he has, he doesn't have anything out yet, which doesn't mean that he hasn't. He did 2 weeks ago, or was it the week before? Sometimes I get my weekends blurred together, so I can't remember if it was last week or the week before. My neighbor, I'm forgetting his name at the moment, and I feel bad about that. But he's an elderly guy that used to be a professional cyclist, as in did bicycle racing. He used to go all over the world to do competitive bike racing. Now he really just enjoys working on bikes and fixing bikes up for other people. And he's still working. I mean, he's definitely at an age where you think he'd be able to retire, but this is the United States, and yeah, a lot of people just simply can't do that, unfortunately. But he's anyway, he had asked me to help him with a TV that he bought. I want to say this was about 2 weeks ago. I don't think it was last week. I hate how I just blur my weeks together like that, but just my memory is not good, and that's one of the reasons I keep this vlog, is so I can kind of double back and remember, like, hey, what weekend did that happen? Okay, so there's a sign. There's a sign. I think I'm just going to pull forward and get a closer look at the sign. There was a sign on the right, too. I just now noticed as I was passing the intersection. I think that's his sign, but it's odd that, like, he's not out and having any stuff out at the curb for a yard sale, if he is indeed having a yard sale. What's it say here? Saturday, 8 to 1 p.m., 4643 Oak Street. Miscellaneous lamps, bicycles, and parts. Massage table grill. Oh yeah, that's most definitely him. Although the signs say Saturday, which tells me he did it yesterday. Yeah. Same sign. So apparently he did it yesterday. He hasn't come to pick up his signs. Damn, you know, I really asked him if he was going to have another one of those yard sales to let me know the day before, or let me know when he was doing it. God knows I've got a lot of junk that would be beneficial to me to sell. And he had another one, didn't tell me. Which sucks, because the way I was yesterday, I could have really used a knock on my door from him. So anyway, the reason I was hanging out with him last weekend or 2 weeks ago, I forget exactly what day it was. I just remember it's the day that the last day that Priscilla and I went to Waffle House for late lunch, early dinner, whatever you want to call it. He had approached me as I was on my way to the car with her, asking if I could help him with something about a TV, and I'm like, well, we're on our way to get food right now, but I can, swing by when I get back. And I did, and he had purchased a TV at a yard sale for $10. Nice little HD TV. It was an older, an earlier generation one. Interestingly enough, it had a 16 by 10 display instead of a 16 by 9 display. We got a freaking stolen shopping cart full of garbage in the park. God, I hate that. Anyway, he had Yeah. So anyway, I purchased this TV. I used to own an older. It's like a decade ago. I had a smaller HD TV that had a 16 by 10 aspect ratio screen. It was actually pretty cool. Like there were actually some benefits to having a taller than standard screen. At that time, there was still a lot of 4:3 broadcasting going on, so it made for smaller pillar boxing on the 4:3 broadcasts. On mine, I was also able to set it up to where when I'm watching 16:9 broadcasts, it would put just the tiniest bit of letterboxing on it, so the aspect ratio would be correct. And then when using it as a computer monitor, I could actually select a resolution, with a 16:10 aspect ratio and get a little more screen involved. At that time, 16:10 screens were pretty common for computers, but they seem to have gone by the wayside now. Anyway, my neighbor's screen, I commented that, and he had no idea what that meant. I kind of tried to explain it, and it went over his head, so I just kind of let it go. The problem he was having was that the guy who was watching it, he saw the TV, and he saw that the person he bought it from, that it was showing channels, but the guy had it hooked up to cable. And then he got it home, and it wasn't receiving any TV channels. As I said, my neighbor is definitely the definition of elderly working poor, so obviously he's not pissing away his money on cable. That's what the young working poor do. Anyway, he had that. Anyway, he just asked if I could help him with it, and I never have an issue with those kind of things. I don't know, for whatever reason, it's a struggle for him. Other things that are easy for other people are a struggle for me, so, I get it. We all have our different strengths and weaknesses. But I went right through the menu, and I had no problem getting the menu to pop up, because he had the correct remote for the TV. I had no problem getting the menu pop up and go to the TV portion of the menu and pick out... basically go to the TV settings, and there was a setting as to whether you had it for air or cable, and it was set for cable. And as soon as I set it for air, I just went to scan for channels, and kind of weird, like it looked like it was scanning analog channels, which a TV that old would, be expected to have both analog and digital tuners. I mean, I didn't look at the manufacturing date on it, but I'm wanting to say it was a pre-2009 TV, from when analog TV was still a thing, and digital TV broadcasts were still kind of limited. So of course, still have an ASTC tuner on it, which would be compatible with modern broadcast television. Anyway, went to it and set it to auto scan, and it found an amazingly large amount of channels. Okay, I'm wondering what the hell is up with the signs in the door. I got the feeling this door is... Well, maybe the store's not closed. It looks like they got signs in the window. Maybe I can zoom in on them. Yeah, that's illegible as fuck. She looks like a cashier. Hang on, I'm gonna walk up and look at these signs. It frustrates me that places that are allegedly open 24 hours a day... Oh no, the door's open. I wonder what the signs say. No gas at this time. Sorry for the inconvenience. Oh, that's what it says. No gas. That's interesting. I was the other day I left this place just 4 stars on Google Maps. I keep getting these things from Google Maps asking me to leave reviews for places that I go, because obviously it's tracking Google's tracking my every move, thanks to my Android Obama phone. And this Circle K, for the most part, the service is okay here, but it's got its issues. One of its biggest issues is just homeless people like to loiter here, like to loiter in this little area. I've seen little encampments built between those palm trees, and probably the most bizarre thing, and I think I captured it on one of my vlogs, actually, is that this was becoming a popular spot for homeless people to bathe. And I caught a guy doing it. There's a spigot right around here. I got the sun glaring at me. There it is. Yeah, right there. There's a spigot right there. And Yeah, there's no lock on or anything. Open spigot, anybody can turn on. And yeah, I caught a handful of homeless people that were coming there and just, and God bless them for bathing, because a clean homeless person is definitely preferable to a dirty homeless person. But especially the ones that smell really bad. But still, like, that's not what that spigot is there for. And yeah, one time I was sitting there kind of hitting my vlog, and in the background is this guy just basically taking a bath there. I mean, thank God he left his pants on, but took his shirt off and was like splashing the water on himself. He put his hair down, and he, was doing a decent job trying to, hey, we get some cans to pick up here. Hey. But yeah, he's putting a bunch of his clothes under there and kind of washing his clothes in it, and to be fair, that's awful, and that shouldn't be happening in front of the Circle K, and Circle K should probably be doing their part to dissuade that from happening, including maybe putting a lock on the spigot. But on the same token, I do believe the city needs to make facilities available for the homeless where they can do that. And no, I don't think that's something the city needs to put the burden of on agencies like CAS or whatever. I think that's something the city literally needs to provide themselves, just like bulk trash pickup. Oh wait, yeah, City of Phoenix isn't providing that right now either. I guess that was a bad example. Anyway, so yeah, there's definitely some negative reviews on the Circle K for the amount of vagrancy that happens at this place, which interestingly doesn't seem to be happening right now. But yeah, one of the complaints I saw was that this place often doesn't have gas. I never purchase gas here. I have a Costco membership, so I always get gas at the Costco right down the street. But yeah, apparently no gas at this location is a recurring problem. Wow, I never noticed just how good the view of Camelback Mountain is from this little ghetto Circle K. That's actually pretty awesome. That's nice. little something nice in a not so great area. But as you can see, some of the houses in this neighborhood are nice. It just, I don't know why this corner is such a magnet for the homeless. I do know that apartment complex right there across the street, and let me get out towards the sidewalk before I'm walking, instead of walking behind all these parked cars. This store could do a better job of cleaning up the trash. Anyway, so I was, at one point, somebody from Circle K Corporate did a copy and paste reply to my 4-star review, which was not a review, it was just merely 4 stars. Didn't actually write a review. Which to me, that wasn't what leaving 4 random stars to me wasn't worthy of that, even a copy and paste. Thank you for review. That wasn't a review, dude. That was just 4 stars, just for being there, I guess, and for having some heavily discounted beer. Appreciate heavily discounted beer. But there's one of our famous Arizona digital palm trees. Those are awesome. Now this apartment complex directly across the street, yeah, kind of known for having some pretty unsavory tenants. Los Roble Apartments, 2245 North 36th Street, now leasing. 602-275-0025, utilities included. I have no idea what the rents are there. At some point I should go through some of these videos that I have where I show places like this that I know rent super cheap, or at least have. I don't know that they rent super cheap, let me rephrase that. I know that they have some questionable tenants that wander over to the Circle K because they don't have a vehicle, and that's the only place that's really walking distance for them. And see actually what the rent is here. But yeah, like that used to be what was, when somebody said affordable housing, that used to be what I would think of. course, now affordable housing almost exclusively means government subsidized housing, but it didn't used to. It didn't used to for me. I am awfully curious what the rent is at that spot there. I imagine it's comparatively low just from the kind of riffraff I see there. Or it could be that the reason I just see that kind of riffraff coming is because there is utilities included, and that certainly draws people who can't afford utility deposits or have bad credit with the utility companies, where the utilities will only hook them up for prepaid service. So yeah, that's one way for renters to avoid that issue. But yeah, for somebody who can't afford a vehicle, this is kind of a crappy spot to be in, because you're a half mile in any direction from a bus stop. There's no bus route here on 36th Street. There's no bus on Oak Street. You've either got to go a half mile north to Thomas to catch the Route 29, a half mile this way, south to McDowell Road to catch the Route 17, or you've got to go a half mile to the east down Oak to catch the Route 32 on 32nd Street. And if you go to the east, it's a full mile to 44th Street. So yeah, bus routes should really be spaced closer together. I don't think these are also some pretty affordable homes, apartments here. I mean, I don't know what those are, and I would be willing to bet a spot like that, where you can see each unit has its own individual heat pump. Rooftop units where it's all single level with front doors and possibly even small backyards. Places like that tend to have no vacancy. I mean, that's awfully similar to like where I live. Yeah. Complexes like that, the people that move into them tend to stay there for a long time, because that's, in my opinion, the most comfortable type of apartments to live in Phoenix. We got a couple more complexes here that look like they're a little on the low budget side. I don't know what this one is, but this one here, I've been up to this intersection at times, and I'm sure I've captured some of it on my blog, but seen some pretty questionable police activity coming out of this apartment complex here. That one, it doesn't even have a name listed on it. 2233 North. Doesn't even have a sign trying to make this look like a welcoming front entrance, even though this is the front entrance. 2233 North 36th Street. And as you see, this one here, we've got it's just all kinds of trash piled up by the dumpsters, because hey, the city of Phoenix isn't picking up their bulk trash either. Dang, this video is turning out to be a lot longer than I meant for it to be. I was just gonna run into Circle K, but I got distracted giving you a tour of the dumpy ass apartments located around Oak Street and 36th Street. And oddly enough, like this little building here, instant access to an attorney, all-night attorney. That's interesting, because that's not a sign for the business. The business that's here is a construction company. Evolution Construction Services, evolutionarizona.com. But the sign, and this looks like it used to be an old convenience store, just judging from the architecture and the kind of sign out front. The sign says instant access to an attorney, so it looks to me like whoever owns this building is leasing out their sign as a billboard to that 24/7 telephone attorney. So, and as I like to say, that's interesting. Anyway, back to my neighbor's TV. So yeah, 16 by 10 aspect ratio screen. There's no provisions for correcting, for putting the small amount of letterbox needed on 16 by 9 broadcasts. So everything was just a little bit vertically stretched. That would be unacceptable viewing for me, but my neighbor was ecstatic that I got all his channels to come in, and we chatted for a while, and come to find out it was kind of brutal getting into his apartment, because I had just come out of my car, and that was the day that my air conditioning had gone out again, as we were on our way from the 99-cent only store to the as we were on our way from the 99-cent only store over to the Waffle House, Priscilla and I, and it was brutally hot outside. And she's like, "This is really uncomfortable." I'm like, "Bitch, your vehicle ain't got air conditioning either." It's like, "Oh yeah, but it's a lot better because I roll down my windows." I'm like, "Yeah, maybe you find that comfortable. I don't find moving air against my skin while I'm driving to be comfortable at all. In fact, I find it so distracting that it makes it difficult for me to drive." Like, just like, hey, be glad to be a passenger in my car because I could make you walk at any time. Just, I'm not happy about the AC being out. Hello. Oh no, I'm walking. It's a don't walk sign. Yeah, this intersection is really never that busy. Kind of surprised there's a traffic light here, to be honest. I've seen a lot busier intersections get by just fine with four-way stops. Anyway, yeah, so I got back, and I really wanted to cool off because I was hot from the drive back from the Waffle House, because I don't live really anywhere near a Waffle House. So any Waffle House I go to, it's a bit of a drive away. And I got back from the Waffle House, and I'm just like hot and I'm sweaty, and I just want to cool off, and I figure I can go into the neighbor's place and work on his TV and be in the air conditioning. And he's got his air conditioning off, he's got his front door wide open, and it is hot as fuck in there. I don't know how the hell he survives in that, but I guess he figures, wow, look at this. Normally these shopping carts are full of garbage, and this has actually got some nice backpacks and bags in it. Well, wonder what homeless person abandoned his bags like that in a shopping cart. Looks like we had a little bit of a house party here and left all the cans and bottles out. I'm gonna grab a couple of cans off the sidewalk. Whoa, that's like a half full beer right there. That's alcohol abuse, not finishing a can of Modelo. Anyhow, so yeah, it was kind of brutal for me getting into his apartment and it not being, I was so ready for some air. Oh, we got a secret message on the sidewalk. What's it say? "I loved you with every piece of my soul." I'm pretty darn sure that message isn't for me. Anyway, anyway, so he got his TV working and walked out front and saw that he was having a yard sale, and that's when we had the yard sale conversation about, hey, you should really let me know when you're doing this. He's like, well, it was spur of the moment. I'm like, well, it's spur of the moment. Come knock on my door. Just come knock on my door. Let me know. I'm down for I can spur of the moment and grab a table and bring some stuff out and chill with you and hopefully sell some of my extra junk and get a little extra money. It seems like a good way for me to pass a weekend day when I'm not doing anything else, when I'm not working and don't have anything else to do. Anyway, I'm gonna go inside, get myself my sip and save drink. I'll probably shoot a sequel to this video after a roll, because what I actually meant to talk about when I hit record, I didn't get around to. And I probably won't edit this together with the next video, because I've noticed that when I edit my videos together with iMovie, for some reason, I don't know if it's the resolution or the data compression that it's exported with, but the resulting file ends up being substantially larger than what the two files going in. I'm ending up with a situation of 1 gig plus 1 gig equals 4 gigs, and that's what's been causing me so many issues with getting my stuff uploaded in a timely manner. It ends up being a file that requires a lot more space to export on my iPhone, and I'm still having this issue where I'll have 80 gigs free on my iPhone, but according to iMovie, I've only got 2.2 gigs free on my iPhone, and I need to have 4.1 gigs free on my iPhone. So why can't it see my 80 gigs free? I don't understand what that's about. I've attempted to Google it, and the results that I'm getting are not helpful whatsoever. In fact, I saw one video by somebody who sounded like she was 12 telling me that the solution was to reset everything on my iPhone back to default values. No thank you. Bad idea. Which I think would actually destroy my restoration of this iPhone from the image of my old 6S Plus that it's built on. And actually, I'm wondering if maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe because my phone is restored from an image, and that's the thought that's centered in my head right now. Maybe because my phone is built on an image, like on a saved image of a 6S Plus that only had 64 gigs of RAM, and I restored the software that apparently, like when I reinstalled that, it was something I deleted to make space. I reinstalled it, and maybe for some reason it's convinced that my phone only has 64 gigs of RAM, when in fact I have 28 gigs on this phone. Maybe that's the issue. At any rate, it ends up just trying to get around that, ends up wasting a whole lot of time. And then of course there's the whole routine of uploading it to the Microsoft Cloud, downloading it from the Microsoft Cloud on the Obama phone, and then re-uploading it again on the Obama phone. And that's a separate issue, you know, wherein I need to take and get this stupid iPhone onto my this is interesting. There's a driveway in the curb, but there clearly hasn't been a driveway at this location in a long time. I should have tell it's a very old sidewalk just by how faded the pavement, but it's by the color of it, the shade. You know, it's a lot more white when they're newer. Apparently these little apartments here, or whatever they are, used to have a driveway in the front, and now they have desert landscaping in the front, and absolutely no access to the buildings from the front. Those security doors, as you see, have no walkways accessing them and are permanently locked. I don't know if these are residential buildings here or if these are office buildings. They look like they could be either. But whatever they are, no front access to the street, which apparently there was based on there being a driveway in the sidewalk in the front. Not fond of stuff that doesn't have front access to the street. To me, that takes away from the that makes it, yeah, like here you can see where there used to be a sidewalk that went across, but it's been cut off and eliminated, and again you got a security gate that's just closed all the time. Yeah, that to me is what makes things that much less accessible to pedestrians and makes it car centric, which is, a really bad thing. Alright, so we got a homeless person walking with a stolen shopping cart right there. Just kind of walking this way to look at this other abandoned shopping cart, which does appear to have garbage in it. It's got an old garden hose down there. Now, what a homeless person would do with garden hose is beyond me, except for maybe, I don't know, connect it to the Circle K spigot to make the showers a little more pleasant. I don't know, it's a thought. And as you see here, we got another residential street with lots of unpicked up bulk trash and these tree branches, as I predicted. It's been dry the last several days. Monsoon season is officially over, so these piles of tree branches are very extremely dry, and it really wouldn't take much. It really wouldn't take much for these to burst into flames. All it would take is somebody flicking a cigarette butt out of their car window as they drive by. So somebody had commented on one of my videos that they read that the problem is that Phoenix doesn't have the staffing to take care of it. Yeah, you better solve that problem, Mayor Kate. It's your job to make sure the city has the staffing to take care of essential city services like that. And yeah, if you're not doing that, you're failing us citizens here in Phoenix. Here's a novel concept. Why don't you reassign people in other city departments? Why don't you have some of those office jockeys actually get out? Some of those office jockeys that sit in air-conditioned offices, why don't you have them actually go out and do some real work? See if they can handle picking up the trash. Because I would say picking up the trash is more important than whatever the fuck those people are doing. So let's see, 2302 Harvard Courtyard. Apparently this is a residential, I think it's a residential complex. I can't imagine that it's an office building. These are office buildings with that kind of security gate. And to be fair, they do have a pedestrian entrance here. But yeah, it looks like pretty much the only way. There's no way to, like, if you got a friend that lives there, there's no going up and knocking on their door. If you have a client that you need to contact at home, no way to just go up and knock on the door. There's either a locked door at that gate, or you need a security code to get in the parking lot. So, yeah, not very cool. I can't believe I've shot over 30 minutes of video saying nothing. If you watched all of this, thank you. You know, like and subscribe. Sometimes my content's more interesting than this, I promise.